So I'm back with another use case which is on customer segmentation. So in this analysis, we'll be applying an unsupervised learning method, which is k-means clustering, to figure out whether or not there are few categories of customers which exist. Okay. For this analysis, I'm using a churn prediction data. We'll use it for another use case later also, which is churn prediction. In this data, we have a very few columns, which is just 14 columns, and it is like basic customer data like geography, gender, age, their balance or their estimated salary or number of products they are using. Okay, and this data also has a label which we'll not be using, which tells us whether the customer has left the bank or he or she is still with the bank. Okay. For this analysis, I've also created a GitHub repo, and I'll share the link of this GitHub repo in the video description. So let's go to the analysis now. So I'm just importing the CSV file, and for this I'm just using a few columns, 6 of them, just for this analysis. For the next analysis, we'll be using the complete data set. I'm doing a mean imputation because this data set has a few missing values, and I'm using a standard scaler. So why I'm using this, k-means is completely dependent on distances, and magnitude or the variance in the variable plays an important role. So that is why it's important to scale the data so that we are not getting a bias from, let's say, single feature. Okay. Uh, Generally, we calculate the number of clusters using a elbow plot or variance plot. In this case, as we know, there are two classes. So I'm just using number of clusters equal to 2. And I have created another column which is labels of the cluster in the data set itself. And I'm just doing a single variable analysis in these plots. So with respect to age, it's not very clear which cluster has if the cluster has like exited one or the customer is not exited. For balance also, it is not very clear. Surprisingly, in number of products, if a person is using like one product, he or she is more likely to be in one cluster, and if they are using more number, they are definitely part of cluster 2. If a customer has card, then definitely it's a credit card, so that person is definitely with the bank, he or she has not exited, whereas for other categories it belongs to cluster 2. In this case, it's not very clear because the customer can be an active member, cannot be an active member, and still has exited or not. Okay, so as we can see in this analysis, even in estimated salary, it's not very clear. So the variables which are like true or false in nature, they give us a better clarity of how the clustering is done. And so this is like one of the use case where we had the labels. In case we didn't have the labels, we should have gone through a different method where we calculate or estimate the number of clusters and try to figure out like how many categories of customers we have. Okay, so that's about customer segmentation. Thank you guys for watching. Do like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.